chocolate. How do we like it? Yeah, we've got 6-ounce singles. We have 12-ounce doubles. Or you could do a flight size. We've got 3-ounce glasses. You could do a flight of 3. Pick any 3 you like. Flight of 5. Pick any 5.
Let me dig into your title. So happiness and strategery. So kind of like explain that to me.
We don't want to take ourselves too seriously with that, but it is ultimately about the customer experience and whether they leave happy or not. So, you know, a title like CEO is a little stuffy, number one, but number two, it doesn't really talk about what we need to focus on.
Do you see frozen cocktails as kind of like that next thing that's just about to kind of hit?
We kind of straddle that line between a cocktail and a dessert with some of these drinks, like the Christopher Elbow chocolate. That one is very much like an after dinner drink that people will come in and be like, you know, I was either going to go have dessert at my restaurant that I was at, or I was going to come here and have that cocktail, and I chose to come here and have that cocktail.
The Purple Rain, it has blueberry moonshine, a little bit of Chambord, some simple syrup, and a little bit of milk as well.
We were working with Jason Burton from Lab 5802, and he was our consultant basically to work with us on that. People say, how'd you come up with these? And I say, we drank a lot. And that's really true, because most of the recipes for these, they don't exist anywhere else. So we had to figure out what those ratios were for a well-made, well-balanced cocktail. We took old cocktail recipes that were kind of classics, like a Manhattan. So we call ours the Rockefeller. So it's made with Old Overholt rye whiskey that's infused with fresh cherries, Cinzano sweet vermouth, and Angostura bitters. Froze that. The Limey Bastard, which is really popular, is kind of like a gin gimlet with Hendrick's and Thatcher's cucumber liqueur, fresh lime, a little bit of fresh milk. And then there's some that are our own concoction, like the Purple Rain, another top seller, that has got Chambord, Junior Johnson Blueberry Infused Moonshine, fresh milk, and we actually sell more Chambord than any place in Kansas City. We bring it in by the case on a weekly basis. Most places are lucky if they go through 2 bottles in a year.
Alrighty, here's the Fashionista. It's got muddled strawberry moonshine, Buffalo Trace bourbon, a little bit of simple syrup. It's got some lemon juice as well.
You have an MBA and you focused your education on entrepreneurship, and so you really did approach the Snow and Company concept from that perspective. So can you talk a little bit about what that background, how that helped you build such a strong brand with Snow and Company?
Myself and Andy Talbert and Lauren Cloud, who are the 3 of us that really started Snow and Company. And one day we met as we normally did, like every Wednesday after school got done. And one of us said that we ran into somebody who was talking about frozen cocktails and how they wished there was a place in Kansas City that had them. And then I said, you know, I ran into somebody, completely different circle of friends, that said the same thing. And then Andy was like, I ran into somebody today too. And we all just looked at each other and said, maybe this is the idea that we should run with, because frozen cocktails are something that people love. They almost have like a childhood affinity for them. Because when we started the business, people said, just make the cheap stuff. That's what people really want. They want the cheap stuff. They're not going to buy something that's higher end as a frozen cocktail. They just can't get past that perception. So sampling and flights have been our savior in that regard.
Here we have the OConnell. It's got iced tea, lemon juice, a little bit of orange juice, simple syrup, and Jameson.
Do it.
Yes, there we are. Oh my gosh. Yes, there's booze. Yeah, it's like a frozen Arnold Palmer. Yeah. It's awesome.
How are frozen drinks normally made? Pre-made mixes that are like blue and bright red and orange and made with 151 and grain alcohol. So we just kind of went, 180 degrees from that and said, what if we did what like a Manifesto, one of our speakeasies here in town, did, and used fresh squeezed juices. We used Hendrick's gin, St. Germain elderflower liqueur. We went to Christopher Elbow and got some of his chocolate for one of our drinks. Using really good things and kind of, making people think twice about what a frozen cocktail is. If you really think back to like even the Rat Pack days, when daiquiris and all those things became, in vogue, those were well-made cocktails by practitioners of the art.